Media Bias Tracker for December 24th, 2023. I'm Brian. Welcome to My Tesla Weekend. As a reminder, the way this works is we look at the top 25 headlines on Google News, and then we give them a plus, minus, or neutral rating and go about it with some mathematical equations. Yeah, let's get started. Not much news today because a lot of the journalists are on vacation. Merry Christmas. Tesla recalls over 120,000 cars, times 3, all negative. Tesla hackers weigh in on Netflix's Leave the World Behind, and what they say is, it's possible, but incredibly difficult. It's not a new headline. We covered it yesterday. Top analyst says Tesla worth $1 trillion, and that's, not that crazy if you look at the way they're doing it. Forget Tesla, one EV stock that could make you rich. Could. Would it? Maybe. Who knows? Motley Fool lives up to at least half of their name. Tesla, what to expect in 24? Neutral. That's a decent headline. Tesla's 4680 batteries reportedly slowing down Cybertruck production. Oh no. Cybertruck manufacturing is a disaster. Oh dear. I'm going to tell you on both of those, no it isn't and no it isn't. Whole Mars catalog, Omar did a pretty good takedown yesterday explaining that they're using old numbers to determine that things have not changed. There is an S-curve to this ramp. We are in the S-curve. We're watching it accelerate, and even if the numbers were as bad as they suppose, there's no problem because General Assembly is still the bottleneck, period. Tesla designer, Cybertruck's funky design gives it an edge. This is all good. I covered this yesterday in my live stream. You'll love it. New Tesla cars fall apart. The company says drivers are to blame. We covered this earlier in the week. 4 days ago, they got 1 million clicks on it, I'm sure. So they're going to come back with some more in a bit. Watch the Tesla 3 face off against BYD's Seal in an electric drag race showdown. Neutral. It's actually a pretty good race. The Tesla wins in econo mode, but that's software limited, and loses in regular mode because I'm sure the BYD Seal was benchmarked to the Model 3 to be just a little bit faster. It's great. Competition is healthy. 2019 Model 3 cost of ownership update, neutral. You're supposed to be glad your Tesla is a brittle heap of junk. I'm going to go ahead and call that a negative headline. Tesla held a Christmas market event for Giga Berlin employees. Positive. 3 about losing their appeals in Sweden. All negative, of course. What's it mean? It's above my pay grade. Tesla's building a new store in South Burlington. Great. Tesla near buy point with rival BYD set to claim EV crown. I'm going to call that neutral. Buy point is good, but BYD is likely to finally overtake them as the global EV leader. Guys, we all have to step up. The fact that Tesla is racing against BYD to become the global leader should have you all scared. It doesn't. Elon Musk says at SpaceX we never think about the quarter, and he's in no rush to spin off Starlink, given that, you know what? You're just keyword stuffing your headline at this point, Fortune. Shameless. Tesla stock forecast, will the Elon Musk run company break out to new highs? I'm calling that positive. Recall. 2023 was the year of the Tesla Cybertruck. I'm glad it's over. I'm not. I'm excited. I'm still excited. I can't help it. I'm going to call that neutral because if you hadn't put the I'm glad it's over, but you gotta, because it's clickbait. So how'd we do on the day? Negative 28, trailing 7-day average of negative 26. That's not great. If you look at, it is an improvement. It is about as high as the trailing 7-day has ever gotten. 7-day is right here. It's right near its highs so far. And as a reminder, if you want to see these, I do these every single day, except they're paywalled. I apologize, but these aren't for everyone. Not everybody wants to see it. Everybody wants to see different things. And, for a lot of folks don't want to see this every day. And, anyway, you can support me on X as a subscriber, on YouTube as a channel member, or become a patron. any of those work, you'll get the everyday version. So let's talk about Ford. Ford says half its dealers are waiting to opt in on EV sales and service. Half of Ford's dealers, half of Ford's dealers. So what does this mean? Well, you have to do some things. One of them is commit to actually selling the gosh darn things. The other is put some chargers in. They've tried to make it easier, but a lot of these dealerships are not interested. Well, it's hard to sell service plans on these when they don't need service. It's hard to sell a bunch of the silly nonsense that is so popular with the dealerships. And EV buyers are a bit more savvy. They don't like that. GM and Ford announced several car models will lose EV tax incentive. Unfortunate. That's across all brands. It feels like maybe the phase-in period or phase-out, whichever it is a little too aggressive. 3 Ford vehicles to lose eligibility. Ford's first all-wheel drive S550 Mustang is a mind-boggling build. Clearly a positive headline. Sycora Ford family Ford dealership serves hot breakfast for the West community. Positive. It's a fluff piece. Good job, KWTX. Future Ford vehicles could get airbag surrounding the seat back. Great. Old Ford Bronco buyer's guide. Neutral. Harrison Ford. We don't count that. Should you sell your Ford stock by the end of the year? I rated it neutral because, I don't know. Should you? I mean, I'm not buying it. Filmmaker career, Francis Ford Coppola, not counting it. Ford is a little bit of a vague search term, but it's as specific as we can get without. If we go to Ford Motors, it gets too specific. That's not what users are searching. Some GM Ford models lose incentives. Got it. Sports, movies. Sycora Ford again. KWKT, a different affiliate, is running the same story. Ridiculous. Sports, Lithium and Brine Wells and Darien Ford, skipping it. Future Ford vehicles could get multi-function floor mats. I don't know, it sounds positive, right? One dead after allegedly stolen Ford F-150 hits vehicle in Jefferson County. Negative. This has nothing to do with Ford. I'm not sure why. I mean, you could have just said truck. Not relevant. Our last F-150 Lightning EV pickup road trip was a nightmare. Not relevant. Not relevant. Not relevant. Ford rival GM loses half of Buick dealers over EV program. What a pretty picture. For Ford, I guess this is a positive headline. And Sycora Family Ford Dealership, KWTX, it's showing up again, so we're listing it again. And then I've got a couple more. Drag race, Corvette Z06 holds its own against Ford GT Supercar. Calling it positive because Ford GT Supercar is the presumptive winner. And let's see, last one. Oh, Ford Pro XL Energy commit to major national EV charging port deployment. McLaren GTS and F-150 Raptor, this week's top photos. This one I rated neutral because it is Ford, technically. And the last one was an intrinsic calculation for Ford Motor Company suggests it's 30% undervalued. Buy it now, you guys. Ugh. So that's Ford. Let's see, here's the Ford numbers. Plus 20, week over week change of positive 32. Is that right? Sorry, negative 32. Please scratch that. The change was from 52 to 20. That's negative 32. Apologies, negative 32. Now we go to General Motors. GM violated terms of newly agreed contract, UAW says. Oh my gosh, they already violated it. You know how much money these people were supposed to get? $500. We'll get into that in a second. And it's for Delphi employees. We'll get into it. Blazer EV stopped sales after early software problems. A fire breaks out at General Motors electric car factory. So we've got basically two big stories this week. The fire at Plant Zero and the Delphi $500. GM bought out nearly half of Buick dealers who opted against selling EVs. The big takeaway here is that Buick is still a thing. GM thinks automakers should bring back hybrids, but will it happen? Kind of neutral. I mean, it's a terrible headline, but whatever. Images of the first Denali. How cool. UAW threatens legal action. And in this one, it clarifies, not only is it just $500, but according to the letter, they were inadvertently left off the list and it will be rectified. So a lot of the negative press this week for GM is because of what appears to be a clerical error. Some Delphi employees did get the $500 check, others did not. And GM has already said, yeah, we're going to fix it. It's $500, guys. It's really not that much money. Buick dealership, UAW, why some Delphi retirees aren't getting bonuses. Ambulance chaser, I'm calling that negative. EV hybrid and gas-powered, some interesting cars coming. GM and Ford to lose some EV tax credits, half of GM of Buick dealerships, and so on. And Cruise layoffs to recenter General Motors. And let's see, made in Indiana, Silverado. All GM employees safe after battery fire. I'm still calling it negative. What happened to GM's all-electric bet? I'm calling that neutral because it doesn't make a conclusion in the headline. Is GM really headed to 95 next year? I'm calling that very positive. Outperforms the market, fire, and that's where it cut off for the 25. What does that give us? Here's the GM number. Negative 24 for a shift of positive 64 on the week. Let's look at all of them combined. Here's Tesla, kind of struggling there. But Ford, down a bit. GM, way up. Now, last week it was all about the layoffs, 1,300 layoffs. How dare you? But I knew that was going to be short-lived. And look at that. Week 2, they're already above Tesla. Certainly above Tesla's average, but also above their daily. Ford, despite a huge fall, still way above water. And you can look at the names down here to get a better picture. So what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? If you want to see these daily, use any of the support methods I suggested. Or if you just like the channel and want to support me, that works too. But in any case, stay tuned, stay juicy. And I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots. Oh, wait, I just remembered. A gentleman has told me now twice that he doesn't want me to tell him to stay juicy. So for that one gentleman alone, I shall say, stay moist. And I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the flippity flop.